And just like we talked about with issue 15, I love that it essentially takes 3 issues to flesh out the threat of the Sentinels and Master Mold. This is X-Men 16 from 1966, and this is called The Supreme Sacrifice. And I just love the choice of the big, bold words with the blue, with the action with Master Mold here at the center, in which a life is lost, a battle won. There may be a better creative team somewhere, but we've never found them. Story Stan Lee, penciling J. Gavin's, layouts Jack Kirby, delineation Dick Ayers, and lettering Artie Simek. And I love this cover. This sort of Dutch angle, Master Mold's hand just. And then right here is the Supreme Sacrifice. I am glad, though, that we've updated the Sentinels, though. They look a little too Galactus for my taste in this. Man, I wish comics were 12 cents. Anyway, beautiful, beautiful cover. I would love to have an original copy just so I can hang this with all my rare comics on the wall and to just enjoy Jack Kirby's artwork right there. It looks so good. So last issue, Xavier tried to shut down Master Mold, and he was able to protect an unconscious Hank that was being probed from revealing too many secrets of the X-Men. But Master Mold, being as powerful as he is, almost wipes out Xavier's astral. Because, oh no, the base is it's sinking back into the earth. This means that the most dangerous Sentinel of all, the gargantuan Master Mold, can continue to create more Sentinels until they've overrun the earth. Unless I could stop him. And I will if it costs me my very life. Back in the city, there's a fallen Sentinel. If I can find out why he fell, I'll have the key to their defeat. So back in issue 14, which if you haven't been following along, when Xavier is debating Trask, the Sentinels go haywire on national TV, and one of them just plops down. So keep that in mind. And when here, I'm not going to get into it, but Xavier using his powers against the way that he normally wants to do it. But, you know, when push comes to shove, we were talking about the most powerful mutant mind on Earth. All the X-Men get captured, trying to save Beast and Iceman. And this is like some sort of liquid metal type bubble. Warren can barely fly, and everyone's just sort of stuck. And they're being trudged along like some sort of, what do you call it, trophy in some sort of Roman gladiator style procession. Scott tries blasting it. Jean tries using her mental abilities. Bobby tries creating a ice barrier to break it, and it snaps it in half. And even Bobby says, I failed you. It was all up to me, and I conked out. Don't ever say that again, boy. And all that any man could do, you tried your best. Called me a man for the first time. You're as much a man as any of us, Bobby. Never forget it. Now listen, all of you, we can't shatter that wall. And we'll drain our strength trying, so we'll make no more attempts. Our best bet is to take it easy, conserve our power, and wait for the first opening. They've got to open this thing in order to get at us. That's when we'll strike. And even here, 1966, 15 issues of X-Men at this time, we still see the burden of leadership that Scott has and how he is really growing into his role compared to the earlier issues where we see him alone the first time with Cerebro and everyone else goes out to have a good time, and he's kind of just shrouded in that silhouette, realizing that this is his life. And he has really done a good job going into that thing. That's why you can't give Xavier too much crap. Now, I don't want to give away how they're able to figure out how to defeat the Sentinels because I want you guys to go read this. However, just seeing, okay, so they finally try to open the door to get at the X-Men. And Cyclops says, it worked. He dropped the Beast. Let's go. And everyone just tears through it. No matter how much the Sentinels try, they've been trained too well by Xavier. Just what I'd hoped he'd do. By swinging and missing me, he shattered the wallet full of weapons. I can just use my telekinetic powers against him to force him back. There, I slowed him down now just a little bit more. His body's too heavy for me. But by concentrating on his arms, I can force them back further until I make him topple. So again, they're trying to see how, when one way doesn't work, they're all that training that Xavier's pounded into him up to this point is working. And of course, our heroes win. And Trask finally realizes the errors of his way. However, with this issue, and I gotta say, I love this. piece right here, just that old school flat matte purple and green with the X-Men and the foreground just whoom, coming right at us. Beautiful work, especially here where Trask finally makes up his mind that he's like, heaven help me. I don't want to do it, but I must. Otherwise, the city will be destroyed. And just in full Jack Kirby style work as what do you call them? More Sentinels are being made. He goes, they'll eventually outnumber the human race. They'll enslave all of mankind. They'll be the masters of the earth. And all because of me and my ignorance, my fear, I created the evil far greater than the menace it was built to destroy. First units are taking shape now. Then they'll leave the cubicles and the next batch will be formed. And all will be obedient to the heartless master mold. So long as men endure upon the planet, mine will be the most hated name of all. For it was I who betrayed the human race. No, I won't do it. I can't. I meant to help mankind, to protect it from the mutants. I can't destroy it now. Stop. You cannot defy me. Have you forgotten the penalty? No. I've just remembered. Remember that my life means nothing. I'll gladly sacrifice it to undo the dread I've done. And so while, again, Trask is having a change of heart, Xavier comes with the, with the cavalry to save the day. Now, I don't want to give too much away, but this last panel, where everyone's kind of wondering what happened to Trask, I just found it very poignant the way that this 3-part series ends. It goes, perhaps the truth will one day be known, but until that time, it lies buried beneath countless tons of rubble, buried in the breasts of Dr. Bolivar Trask, whose last earthly sacrifice brought the work of a lifetime crashing down about him, whose last earthly lesson proved to be, beware the fanatic. Too often his cure is deadlier by far than the evil he denounces. And this is what I mean by taking social satire and making it serve the story instead of making 30 pages of a comic book feel like doing this. This is very much a social satire moment, which makes you think, but it serves the story as we see Fanatic and his creation light in the rubbles, and very much kind of like a Frankenstein type style. And such a poignant note and powerful note to end on. And why, as other writers came and built upon him, Chris Claremont in particular, and Scott Liddell, why these stories are so timeless, why we love them, and why they're still redone and modern. So, guys, this was X-Men issue 16. Excellent book. We'll go further into this. This talks about the middle years from issues 17 to 40. And this is essentially saying Stan Lee handed off writing to Roy Thomas and how the book kind of got a little net before Claremont and Lin Wein took over. So we'll get into all of that because the next issue, I believe, like the next full issue is, because we go through their backstories, which is kind of, even in this, it talks about how the backstories became more interesting than the main title because it wasn't as quirky, essentially, for lack of a better word. But we'll kind of go through all these. But as we get into it, the next full issue is 1957, issue 57 from 1969. So we're essentially jumping 4 years, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, so 4 years into the future. Sorry, I've not had enough coffee, so I'm just stumbling all over my words. But yeah, when we go over 57, I'll kind of breeze over these backstories, which I really appreciate that they added because it really gives depth to the X-Men. Though I kind of wish in this collected trade it just would have been the whole thing. That would have been great, but I'm sure that would have been very expensive to print. But with all that aside, going back to issue 16, excellent book. I would love to just get 14, 15, and 16 because the introduction of the Sentinels and how deadly Master Mold was, this was a damn good. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever there's going to get your action figures and comics. And if you have the ducats, get the original copies. If not, then you can pick up this Penguin Classic, and I'm sure that they've had reprints and whatnot. But I got this, and I'm eventually going to hand it over to my kid so he can read it and kind of hopefully enjoy the X-Men as I did. If you've enjoyed this review, really would appreciate it if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel more than you could possibly know. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little master mode bell, next subscribe. That was like tempo content. You guys get notified. Come to the channel. And I love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments or the socials, which I'll make sure that the links down in the description. So with all that said, hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, everyone.